All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? Bringing you another video. This time it is going to be a 2H and bow build for Clockwork City for the Stamina Templar. Now, as you guys know, if you guys have been following my YouTube channel for a while, I've mostly run dual wield in 2H, and the main reason I've done that is because there are sets out there that have just loaned itself well to run the extra. Run the dual wield. Rending slash is very good. You feel power of the light. You hit really hard running dual wield swords. It's a fun, unique playstyle without a gap closer. I still enjoy that. I'm not going to come out with the Clockwork City version of that build until Clockwork City drops. There's a set that's coming out, that patch. I forget the name of it, but it's the one that gives you 400 weapon and spell damage to your class abilities. That works very well on a Stamplar and my specific build. So I have to test that first before I make any adjustments or just say, hey, it's the exact same. So this one's going to be different, and I want to talk about it a little bit. Why we're doing this. I'm gonna name this build the Throwback because this build's been out for literally forever, and people moved away from it with the new stuff, but now, because of the new changes, this build is awesome again. Like, it was always not bad, but in my opinion, it's going to be really good next patch. So I will talk through that, why we're doing what we're doing, as we're going through this, so I can provide my explanations. But with all that being said, let's dive into the character sheet. So fully buffed. This is outside of PvP. This is our back bar. We have 36,000 stamina, we have 15,000 health, we have 11,000 magicka, 2,000 weapon damage. When we buff up, we're at 2,700, we're at 25% crit, but as you guys know, you do get more crit when you hit with your biting jab, so we're at 35%. This is a 5 heavy. This is a heavy armor build. Good recovery, good weapon damage, unbuffed. But that isn't all we're doing. So let's dive into the gear. We're running 3 agility. All recovery enchants. We need the recovery because our other sets will not provide that for us. We're running 5 Ravager. We're running 3 max stam and then 2 occasions on the body, and then we're running 2 blood spawn. I have 2 medium right now. 1 medium, 1 light is okay. 2 medium's good. You get the reduced cost, you get the recovery. It's up to you. Do you want more max stats? Do you want a little bit more recovery, a little bit more reduced cost? Right now I'm trying out 2 medium. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. We're running the Maelstrom's Maul sharpened. I will probably run a Nirnhone Maul next patch once I get it. I do not have it. I'm running the sharpened one. This is getting a buff next patch, guys. The critical charge will deal an additional, I think it's jumping up to 6,000 or 6,500 damage. Not a huge damage over time effect, but it does come in handy for filling out your power of the light. They are getting rid of the weapon damage bonus, but you get the critical charge, and on top of that, you get to enchant over the top of it or run poisons. Now, a lot of people have been mad, and they go, wow, you took my weapon damage away from my VMA weapon, why are you doing this to me, yada, yada, yada. In general, there's a lot of enchants out there that are better, that do more damage than the 189 weapon damage. And so a lot of people were moving away from VMA weapons anyways for that reason. Now, the only problem with this now is you can't get, in the past you could get the 189 weapon damage and you could equip a poison if you wanted to. You can't equip a poison and have an enchant. So you will always get the critical charge whether you have poisons or not. And then you can either enchant or run poisons. That's really up to you. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with a disease damage enchant like I was before. It gives major defile. Very useful. So I'll probably be going disease damage. I don't have it on there yet because we're not in the new patch yet. And then we're also running the Master's Bow. Now, as you guys know, last patch I was running, as I said, 2H and dual wield, and I was running 7th Legion and Ravager. That's still very good. I'm going to figure out, see if another set's better than that. The reason I wasn't running a 2H and bow setup was because, in my opinion, for a Stamplar, the best way and the most fun way to play Stamplar is to hit hard as shit and just melt people. You want to try and get power of the light, you want to time your burst combo, and you just want to melt people and move on to the next person. That's the most fun way to play it. The best way to do that, in my opinion, was to run dual wield. But with these changes, they have now changed it to where the Master's Bow is going to be one of the best PvP weapons in the game. Um, this specialty enchantment now is going to be part of a set, and so increases your weapon damage by 301 against targets affected by your poison arrow abilities. So you get to 301 no matter what. On top of this, we will retrait this decisive bow to infused, and we'll put a weapon and spell damage enchant on top of it. So it turns out with infused it'll be 450. Fully buffed, it turns out to, it's almost an alchemist proc. It's like 525 weapon damage, fully buffed. And so with this one weapon infused with this enchant, we're going to have 800 weapon damage, which is more than 7th Legion was giving us. So now we have this, and we have the VMA, we have the Maul Dot. So we're, with this setup, we are now hitting harder. We will be hitting harder with this setup than we were with our setup last patches, which is just really cool. Not counting the dot that we're getting with this as well. Plus, I mean, Rending Slash is a great damage over time effect. The Master's Bow has some added bow, like there are some other benefits to adding a bow. Namely, you don't have to run movement speed pots. The other thing is you then get to DPS a little bit from range. DPSing from range does come in handy in some fights. Poison injection works as an execute. We are not running an execute with this build, so having that poison injection give us more damage, and when they get to low health, provide more pressure is very valuable. We're running tripods. We're going to need tripods for this build. I'll go through that in a moment here. We're running, on our 2H bar, we're running Rearming Trap. Now, you can run Reverse Slice. I do not think you need Reverse Slice on a Stamplar. If you're running in group, like if you're running with a group and you have an Asylum weapon, obviously, you know, run Reverse Slice. You'll get a lot of ulti regen. It's good splash damage. It's very useful in group play. For 1vx, I like Rearming Trap more than Reverse Slice, just because it's another damage over time effect. It helps fill our Power of the Light. It snares somebody in place. There's a lot of Magicka builds that, you know, it'll help keep them off you a little bit. Critical Rush, we are running a Gap Closer. This does really good damage. Plus, because we're running a VMA weapon, we get that other damage over the time effect with running it. Rally, Binding Javelin, and Biting Jabs with Dawnbreaker Smiting. Now, you can run Crescent Sweep. Crescent Sweep is very good. It hits really hard. I like the knockdown. You know, we're not always going to be able to pull off Javelin on some people, so Dawnbreaker Smiting for an AoE knockdown so we can recover. This is going to hit really hard, fully buffed, with our Ravager procced, with our bow giving us another 800 weapon damage. This is going to just melt people next patch. I do not have this morphed yet. I made the mistake of doing other things during this last update, but this will be the bow ulti. This will be Ballista. I need to get this leveled. This is literally just sitting on my bar right now for no reason, but this will be Ballista next patch. Very useful. You know, you're gonna light attack, poison injection, Power of the Light, drop Ballista, go in, try and CC him. You know, it's just gonna be so much burst damage with this build. People are gonna have a hard time dealing with that much pressure. It doesn't matter what they are. It's gonna be tough to deal with. Resolving Vigor, your heal, poison injection, it procs with your Master's Bow. This is going to be how we get all of our damage. Power of the Light on our back bar. I'll go through that as well. Extended Ritual and Restoring Focus. Now, because this is a 5 heavy build, we cannot run Shuffle. We do not necessarily need Shuffle because we're a Stamplar. We do have the ability to eliminate snares by Purifying. Now, the only problem with this, and the main reason I wanted to run a bow, is sometimes you will get immediately snared afterwards. So you purify. You want to, like, if you're focusing a lot of people, or you have a lot of people focusing you, you want to try and cleanse the dots, dodge roll so they can't hit you right away with their snare, and you want to start line of sighting a little bit. So this is going to be a little bit more kitey than my dual wield setup for good reasons. I will be coming out with a couple of medium armor alternatives as well, but I'm enjoying this so far. It already hits hard now. It's gonna hit a lot harder in the next patch. As far as CP goes, doesn't really matter a whole lot, but 40 in a Warlord, 11 in a Sprinter, 49 Tenacity, 75 Mooncalf, 11 into befoul, 34 into tumbling, 27 into blessed, 16 shattering blows for sorks. I think a lot of people are going to go light medium armor next patch. This is going to be useful. 56 mighty, 33 piercing, 37 precise strikes, 51 into thaumaturge, 50 ironclad, 43 into resistant, 37 hardy, 37 elemental defender. I had 3 left over. I threw them into thick-skinned. As a Stamplar, you don't really need that. And then 15 to quick recovery to boost our heals. Now, how to play this type of build. This build isn't, we are in heavy armor, so we are going to have nice resistances, as you guys saw. Our resistances are very, very good with this setup. That's one of the main reasons we are running heavy armor. Ravager is just a really good damage set in general, so that's valuable as well. And then on top of that, we are going to get a ton of weapon damage with the bow. Now, hopefully I don't get melted here jumping off the wall. As far as our opening combos go with this build, guys, I'll show you what it looks like when your Master's Bow goes off. So when you hit somebody with poison injection, it has to register, and your hands will glow green when you have the poison injection buff on it. So you see how my hands went green there? I'm gonna leave really quick. I don't know if I want to kill him. I don't know how many ads are here. If you weapon swap too quickly and it doesn't register the poison injection, you will not get the green. You will not get the green buff. You will not get the 300 weapon damage. So the issue with running a Master's Bow is you do have to wait for it all to register. Now, it's the same thing with infused. So when we are going to run our infused bow on our back bar, we want to make sure that the infused and the light attack or heavy attack and the bow all hits so that weapon damage procs. So how we're going to do it with this setup and how I have it this way is we'll do a full heavy attack, poison injection, and then power the light. So by the time your power the light goes up and you weapon swap, you will get the weapon damage proc, which will last for 5 seconds. You'll get the poison injection proc, which if I remember correctly, it lasts as long as poison injection, which I think is 10 seconds. And so that's when the magic happens. That's when your burst happens. So that's how we get by it. So we're going to play a little bit kitey. We're going to do our full heavy attack, open, poison injection, power the light, weapon swap, and then we're going to go in. And we're going to either ulti dump, whatever. Now, that's going to be our traditional open. We want to try and fill power of the light. The Merciless Dot will fill Merciless Charge, our crit rush, poison injection, all that will tick, 1 set of jabs. That'll fill our power of the light quite a bit. If you're 1vxing and you're fighting a bunch of people, if you get snared in place, naturally when you're fighting more people, they're going to snare you more often. So you have to be careful in those situations. So what you want to do is you want to purify, you want to get your rune down, and then basically line of sight and get your trap. And so you're going to set up your trap at a choke point. And so when they come around the corner, you can do a full heavy attack, jabs, you can do whatever. Light attack, poison injection, and then power the light, they hit your trap. And now they have all that stuff ticking on them. They're stuck in one place, and now you jab, you finish them off, and then you move on to the next one. You can run Repentance there, you can run other stuff, but I like the extra damage over time effect. I like having Trap on a Stamplar. We do 10% more crit damage. This allows even more crit damage. Yeah, so I like that a little bit more than Repentance in general. And especially if you're running with another Stamplar buddy that is running Repentance, then you guys don't have to duke it out over who gets to, sap the bodies. So as far as alternatives or other options for this setup, you can run Bone Pirates. Bone Pirates is good. You can run 5 Ravager, 5 Bone Pirates. That'll give you very similar things to what we're currently running. I do like the ulti gen and the extra tankiness that Bloodspawn provides. There's not a huge difference in damage and recovery from running what we're running to running like Dubious with Bone Pirates. So recovery is very similar, damage is very similar, but then we get the ulti gen and we get the tankiness. As far as food goes, this is the other thing I forgot, I'm sorry. We are running Lava Foot Soup and Salt Trees, so this is where we're making up some of that recovery. As you guys know, Dubious Cameron Throne. I've gone through this quite a few times, so I'm just only going to briefly cover it. The food we're running here gives us 457 stamina recovery and 4575 max stamina. Dubious gives us 319 and 3192. We get a little bit more damage with running Lava Foot compared to Dubious, and we get a little bit more recovery at the sacrifice of health. That's why we're running 3 Hakejos, because in PvP we'll be sitting at 21k health. So it is a heavy armor build. It is a little bit more kitey. You know, we will be tanky. We'll be able to heal quite a bit with Ravager, with agility, with the Master's Bow. Our single target damage is going to be very, very high. Just go and check out our damage here really quick when Ravager procs. So Ravager fully procced, we're at 3600. We're at around 3600 weapon damage with this build. With the poison injection, that's 3900, about 4000. And then we're going to get about 500 with the infused weapon in short bursts, obviously. So it's only lasts for 5 seconds, but we can absolutely get a burst combo off to kill something in 5 seconds with this setup. So yeah, so with the buffs, in summation, with the buffs to the Master's Bow, with the buffs to the Maelstrom 2H, the extra dot, it makes a bow and 2H Stamplar very in line with the 2H and dual wield Stamplar that I was running. Our heals will, now that we don't have to run immovable movement speed pots, we do get a potion heal, so that does come in handy in some spots. It allows us to fight at range. You know, poison injection also works as an execute. You know, this is a lot better. This will be a lot better next patch than it currently is. I've gotten some good fights in with this setup already. And it, like I said, it's only going to be better. I'm already not running shuffle. You know, there's nothing I'm currently running that is getting nerfed. Everything that I'm running is getting buffed. So yeah, so if you guys don't have this gear, if you guys do not have, you know, a VMA weapon and you guys don't have a Master's weapon, you know, all you have to do is do one run and have one of your buddies give you a bow, and then you guys have to retrade it. You know, you're going to have to go and get the transmutation crystals. You're going to have to transmutate it to infused in order to pull it off. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be heavy farming like it was. You know, you do your dailies, you play PvP. When you can retrade it, then you retrade it. So, as I said, I will be coming out with my dual wield Stamplar setup probably late next week. If you guys have any questions about this build, comments, if you guys have any improvements or other stuff you'd like to see, obviously this isn't the only way you can run it. You can go Bloodspawn Kina, you can go Engine Guardian, you can run Slime Craw. I like the Bloodspawn, the slight more tankiness over running Slime Craw. Plus the stamina recovery for the one piece is very nice. That's just my personal preference. I couldn't get by with less recovery than what I'm currently running. So if you guys have any questions for me, if you guys have a specific class that you want me to work on and post an updated build for next patch, let me know. If not, I'll just keep going like I normally do, and you know, whatever catches my interest, whatever comes to mind, I'll post it. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you. Have a nice day.